what we're trying to do is we have several of these events a year. This is our second one. We had Senator Delvin down for the first one. And I think it's a good way to get our local members and businesses out to to an event like this, to be able to talk one-on-one with some of our elected officials, and also we're bringing in other speakers. In this case, Chris Jacobs, who's our county clerk, who gave us a lot of information on what's going on there. Last time we had an expert from Canisius who talked about networking. So again, to help each of our members and other businesses. The events are also for anybody in the community to come. You wouldn't even have to be a member.
So we had a real crisis. What had happened is there was an attempt to change the long-standing process on how we do things there. On paper, it may have sounded good, but it completely created a breakdown in the procedures. As opposed to, we try to make changes with the best of intentions, but then we realize that those don't work, and we go back to the old way of doing it. We're tweaking what we're trying to do. They just kept churning along with that broken process. And the result was what we found when we came into office. My approach was, I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at whose fault it was. We're going to solve the problem. And we're not going to just solve the immediate problem. We're going to use this crisis as an opportunity to transform this division in county government to a 21st century operation. So the result of this was, when this project was done, we had a business plan for the office, 25 action steps to do, and it held me accountable as I moved through the couple of years, trying to get the last couple of years, and we're nearly fully through that. And I'm proud to say that we recorded surpluses. We recorded nearly $4 million in surplus funds in the last 2 years, largely from that division, and it does tie in very much with business. Our Veterans Initiative. The clerk's office, one other role we play is we're the record keeper of many critical records in Erie County. And one of the records we're charged by state law to keep are the honorable discharge papers for county veterans. We created the Erie County Thank the Vet program. And what we do is we now issue a free picture ID to the veteran when they bring the document down, or we do outreaches a lot. And it just says that you're an honorably discharged veteran, and we attest that your discharge paper's on file with us. And then what we've done is we've gone out to area businesses and said, would you consider giving a discount to the veteran if this card is presented? And over the last 2 years, we've signed up over 1,000 businesses, and it spans the gamut from Dunkin' Donuts gives a 10% discount every day, to Karuba Collision, to Marano Homes gives a free appliance package valued at $8,000 for veterans. So really in every sector now we have some businesses, most of them locally owned businesses, so we also believe it's driving people to local businesses too. So we've been very proud about that initiative. We've issued over 10,000 cards to area veterans, but a veteran right here in Jack Mills, we have a lot of veterans in this community, so we have a lot more to go. One final thing I just wanted to mention, another role we play in business is we are where you go if you're going to file a DBA, and I believe Mike showed me that we filed about 2,000 DBAs this year, significant increase. So that's a sign that the economy, we're sometimes a good barometer in the economic activity. It's at almost a 30% uptick in 2014 to last year. So those are the new businesses starting up, and Mike, one thing we do to try to help the businesses, these are a lot of small startups, get off on the right foot, is we do have a kind of a starting your business document that we give that has a lot of list of resources that are available to small businesses.
For those who do not know me, I started my business 38 years ago with a sum of money, I think it was about $500. And my wife and I got involved in a franchise distribution for a company called Oral Kent Salads. You may or may not know that label, but and my dad said, let me look at your hands. And I said, okay. He says, those aren't at the hands of a truck driver. Those are the hands of a salesman. I said, Dad, will be a little bit of both. And I reminded my father that for years, growing up as a child, that he always said, I wish I was in business for myself. And the other thing he says, doesn't matter if you vote or not, because your vote really doesn't count with politicians. So two things I had to dispel for my father, and I think he understood that, was getting the business for myself and becoming involved in government, because your vote does count. As your representative, I can assure you, I talk about the Southern Tier every minute of the day. And from a selfish standpoint, I do business down here. It's wonderful. More business I get, the more business enhances down here. So it's been a great ride for me. I've met a lot of wonderful people in government, and my Southern Tier is closest to my heart. And I wanted to see the legacy I've tried to create down here continue. In other words, we have a wonderful situation in Springville. This is by far they call the critical mass of the Southern Tier. It's Springville, New York, right here. So it's what it is. We work hard to try and make this region grow. The other thing I'm fighting for very effectively at this point is infrastructure improvement, because you can't grow your business, you can't get there on the roads. Now, here's a good example of dysfunctional government. We have a lot of that still. Anybody know where Zor Valley is? Yeah. If you have a motorcycle, you know where it is. It's a terrible road. What's ironic about it, some years ago, the state condemned 1,400 acres of property on the corridor, the Cattaraugus corridor, Zor Valley corridor, for recreational use. Forgot one thing now. You got to find a way to get there. So they backed away from doing any state funding, which I'm still going after, to help with our Zor Valley project, which is going to take about $22 million. So in our budget, about $35 million on the high side of county funding for roads, basically $22 million would not be possible. So we've got to work on getting that, working with government to get that done. We're going to lower taxes. What you're going to do in the budget is controlled by myself as chairman. We have 6 votes. I've got 2 others, I believe. A new legislator by the name of Peter Savage, a bright young lawyer, and with a lot of common sense. Well, that's really lacking in government. And I got Tommy Lager, a business owner, who's on the other side of the aisle. And I think I got those support of those 2 gentlemen to not give a tax increase to the residents of Erie County in the next budget, provide more money for the roads and bridges, infrastructure, and focus those dollars on where we have to focus them to bring more business to our area. 28 million small businesses in the U.S. 50% of the working populations work for small business. Small business generated over 65% of the new jobs since 1995. So thank you all for working hard to keep this country strong and viable, and thanks again for inviting both Chris and I.